BookTube, it's Missy, and today I'm here to share with you guys the first weekly wrap-up of 2018. I know I talked about it in my resolutions video, but I finally have been able to, sit down and film this, or stand and film this, because today I have the day off. It's President's Day, all schools are out, so I want to talk about the 4 books that I completed last week. Before we get started, I did have a commenter say that they didn't like the fact that I said hi to you guys and called you BookTube. Let me know down below what you think about that. Please comment and say what you guys would like to be called. I was trying to rack my brain, saying, well, maybe you could be the BingeReaders. I don't know. I called you guys BookTube from day one because my platform that my channel is on is BookTube. So I'm saying hi to all of BookTube, people who are subscribed to my channel or not. So if that is offensive to you, if you don't like me calling you BookTube, let me know down below what you would like to be called instead. Alright, on to the reviews. So the first one I want to talk about is the Tribulations of August, Barton by Jennifer LeBlanc. Now, I read this book last year. I gave it 5 stars. She sent this to me for an honest review, and I absolutely adored it. It's about a boy with anxiety who learns how to adult. He goes to college, he gets a girlfriend, he learns all about how his grandma had sexcapades when she was a youngster, and yeah, it's a pleasant read all about family and firsts, and it's like a coming of age story, and I absolutely loved it. I cried, I think, twice during this book, but this isn't the book I'm talking about for this weekly wrap-up. I'm talking about its sequel, which is in the making. Jennifer contacted me and asked me if I wanted to be a beta reader, and I said, yeah, I want to see what happens to August in the next book. So she sent me a PDF file of the Revelations of August Barton. So I'm going to hold the physical book here, but I'm going to post a picture of the sequel cover on top during editing. So the sequel. Now, I don't know how much I can talk about. I'm sure it doesn't matter. She didn't say I couldn't review it. So I'm just going to, do a little bit of the review. It was, like I said, I'm a beta reader, so it might change a bit, or maybe it's just going to change like editing wise, like maybe she needed a comma or she needed to change a word because it didn't make any sense, because I did have to do that. I had to edit it a little bit and let her know, like, if the continuity wasn't correct. So yeah, August this cover. August is it's like a year and a half later, so he's still in college. He's a sophomore in college now, and the Revelations is something that has to do with his past and his family that he has to come to terms with. He thought he knew somebody. I don't want to give anything away, but a family member was supposed to be something to him, and then come to find out it's something different, and that really affects him within the book. And then because of that scene, things progress kind of negatively towards the ends of the story. So it's a coming to terms with reality and what you do with the information that is given to you. How do you respond in a positive way, and how do you move forward? That's basically it. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to give anything away, but something happens at the beginning of the book. August is devastated, and it affects the way he reacts to the people that he loves, and then a spiral effect happens, and he has to get out of that and fix everything that he messed up. And how does he do that? So I thought it was fabulous. Again, it's all about friendship and family and forgiveness and just knowing who in your life is important, and how to, like I said, forgive and get everything, you know, back together again. The way I make it sounds a little cheesy, like a Hallmark movie, but it's absolutely fantastic. I gave this, again, 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. All right, the next book that I completed last week is Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. I grew up watching these cartoons. I've never read the books. This is one of, I think, 4. So this is volume 1. This is a Puffin Modern Classic. I don't know if the ones like 2, 3, and 4 come in this edition, but it would be nice if it was like matching pastels or something. That would be really cute. On the back side, it says A.A. Milne, 1882 to 1956, wrote this book for his only son, Christopher Robin, and it is perfectly matched by Ernest H. Shepard's classic illustrations. Winnie the Pooh brings a very special corner of childhood to life. That's just on the back flap. I didn't know Christopher Robin was a real person, so that's kind of cool to get a little history about Pooh. There's also a sense of, like, breaking the fourth wall within reading these, because at the beginning of the story you have Christopher Robin listening to a narrator talking about stories, and Christopher Robin interrupts a couple times saying, I don't remember that, you know, what did I do next? And I think that was really cute, because you get a kind of a sense that these stories are coming to life while he's sitting there listening. There are 10 short stories in here. Let me make sure. Yeah, there's 10 short stories in here. A lot of the stories that I read, I've seen the cartoon animation for. So I liked getting a little bit of background. Because when you do watch the cartoon, it does go through most of everything that is in the story, but I kind of liked to read it. Also, it reads kind of like Lois Carroll. If you've read Alice in Wonderland, it's a little bit a whimsical read where they kind of go back and forth. Like, I can't give you an example. I should have like put post-its in here so I could go back and show you guys. But it's just the wording is very whimsical, and it goes back and forth, and I'm doing a really bad job of this, but they are very cute. I read this to my children, and what else can I say about it? Yeah, I thought they were cute. I liked it. I want to pick up the other volumes in this series. Alright, I think I gave that one 4 stars. The last 2 books I have to share were my favorites so far of the month. I have Misery here by Stephen King. This was my January pick for 2018 for my Stephen King read-along. If you guys are a part of my read-along, I want to apologize again. I mean, I am currently in the middle of the Dark Tower series, so pretty much everything is put on hold or dragging while I'm still continuing on with that series, because that is very important to me. But I did want to start my Stephen King along in the meantime, so I will be a little bit behind you guys until the Dark Tower is completely done. Like, I'm done reading it, but I'm in the middle of the 6th book, so it won't be long now. So like I said, this was the January pick, and it took me exactly 1 month. I started January 18th, and I finished it yesterday. And I used to have a list. It was The Shining, It, and then Desperation. Those are the top 3 Stephen King books that I've read, and I've read about 40 of his works. Maybe 35. I don't know, he has a lot of books he's written. But yeah, I've read many of them, and out of all of those books, those were my top 3. This has replaced The Shining, so now it's Misery, The Shining, It, and then Desperation. This was amazing. I can't believe I waited so long to read this book, and on top of that, I've never seen the movie, which makes me freak out a little bit too. So, I might do a compare, because I kind of wanted to do that with all of the Stephen King books. Let me know down below if that's something you would want to see, because most of Stephen King's books have been adapted into either TV shows or movies. So, Misery is about a man named Paul Sheldon. He's a writer, and his most famous books are the Misery series, and they are historical fiction romance, and women all around the world just eat up this romance. They absolutely love Misery and her like affairs. Like she has a husband. I believe her husband is Ian, and Jeffrey is like her side, like fling, like if they've never been together. I think at one point they were together for a second. So I think Jeffrey is her fling, and Ian doesn't know about it. And I love the fact that inside this book, you get to see Paul's writings of Misery, the Return. I love books that have stories within them. It's so fun to get into the character's head even more. And the fact that Paul Sheldon talks like Stephen King was even more great. I mean, I've read a lot of Stephen King's like notes or diary entries, or I've listened to a lot of his forewords before books started, or afterwards when he talks about his process of writing the book and where he got his ideas from. And he talks about the constant reader all the time. In all of his books, if you read the foreword or the afterword, he talks about a constant reader, which is us, the readers who are constantly buying up his books and reading them and then sending him mail about our opinions of said books. So Paul Sheldon also has constant readers of his Misery series, and Annie Wilkes is his #1 fan. Like, she absolutely loves his books so much that she has them almost memorized, and they're like tattered and worn because she's reread them over and over again. There's like dog tags. So Paul Sheldon is leaving Sidewinder. Another thing that I really enjoy, the fact that Stephen King's books are connected very thinly, like a hair's width between everybody else, like all the other books. So Sidewinder, of course, is the city that you drive through to get to the Overlook Hotel in The Shining, and it also is a major destination in the sequel to The Shining, which is Dr. Sleep. So I like that this book also takes place in Colorado, and you have to drive through Sidewinder to get to Annie Wilkes' house. Now, so Paul Sheldon is leaving Colorado. He wants to go to California, and his car, he gets in a car accident because there's a storm that sweeps through while he's driving, and he loses control and he crashes. And Annie Wilkes drives by, sees the accident, and, you know, rescues him. She doesn't know he's Paul Sheldon until like she's going through his wallet, and then she realizes his face, and she's like, oh, my favorite author ever. I'm going to steal him. And basically that's what she does. She steals him. She takes him back to her house. She revives him, you know, gives him medicine, yada yada, brings him back to, you know, this world, and then slowly takes pieces away from him. Like, it's insane. I thought Jack Torrance from The Shining was the scariest villain, you know, along with It, because he was so just evil. But Jack Torrance can't help being evil because he inherited this rage from his father. And he has a touch of The Shining, if you didn't know. I mean, obviously he does because that's how his son got it. I'm sure it's, you know, hereditary or whatever. So he has a touch of The Shining, so he's susceptible to the Overlook's influences, and they're able to kind of like possess Jack Torrance and get him to, you know, do their bidding. In this case, Annie Wilkes is even more crazy because she likes it. She's doing it because she wants to, and that's even more frightening. I always talk about my scariest books to date are aliens and the ones that are super realistic. Like, you could meet someone this psycho in real life, and just the torture that she sets upon Paul Sheldon, just the things that she does is insane. It makes me want to watch the movie so bad, because there is a scene that's very famous in the movie that they always play in like movie reels, or like whenever there's a clip of Misery, they always show that particular scene. That's not in the book. I mean, it is, but it's completely different in the book, and it's 10 times worse. It's 10 times worse than what you see in the movie. And that is crazy, because I could not read this in one sitting. Like, it took me a whole month because I was so anxious while I was reading it. I would pick it up, I would get to a really hard part where Paul Sheldon's terrified, just terrified of Annie, and I would put it down. I'm like, oh no, 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 no. I don't want to know what's happening. I'm too scared. I don't want to pick it up. And then I would go on. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, when am I going to get to that scene from the movie that everybody knows about? Like, that's the worst scene I could possibly fathom happening in this book. Like, when am I going to get there? And when I got there, I had this sense of release, because I'm like, okay, there's nothing that could be scarier than that particular scene. And I was mostly right, but at the same time, it's like 10 times worse than the movie. So yeah, I can't wait to watch the movie, because this was fantastic. Absolutely 5 stars. If you haven't picked up Misery, I highly, highly recommend. It was brilliant. And the very last book I want to talk about is By a Charm and a Curse by Jamie Questel. Now, I did talk about this book in my most anticipated reads for February. I said I was waiting for Entangled Teen to send me this book because I requested it from them, and I was put on their book tour. And today's my day. I need to talk about this book. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It was so, so good. I'm so happy I found it on YA Lit in time to request it from the publishing company, because it was just so good. I really, really liked it. So much so, I read this in one sitting. Like, I started it, I think, Friday, and I read about 10 pages, and then I got distracted and was playing video games. And then, so Saturday, I picked it up, and I was like, well, I have to have this read by Monday, so I will start it now, and I'll read, you know, like 100 pages, and then I'll, you know, start again tomorrow. But no, I got so sucked in by like the second chapter, I finished it all the way through. It took me 6 hours to read this entire book, and it was brilliant. If you like The Night Circus, and I'm raising my hand because I absolutely love The Night Circus. This is The Night Circus's kid sister. So you have Skipper, you know, the Barbie doll, and then you have Barbie. This is Skipper. She's not as good, popular, detailed, whatever, as Barbie, but she's still part of the family. You know what I mean? And this was brilliant. So I don't want to spoil anything, but I will talk about the book a little bit. We have a carnival, and it is a traveling carnival. It goes from, you know, small town to small town, and surrounding this carnival is a person in a box. So if you think of Big, the movie starring Tom Hanks, there is a person, or, you know, a puppet, sitting in a box that does fortunes. And in this book, there is a person in a box that does fortunes. Now, this person is the soul of the carnival. So, where it says a charm and a curse, the curse is the person in the box is stuck there. He or she doesn't feel anything. They're pretty much wooden. They are a living puppet, and the charm is whoever works for the carnival, if they had any ailments before they started, the ailments go away. Nobody gets hurt or sick or die while this curse is still in effect. And I just thought that was fabulous. Now, I won't talk about how the curse got to be or what happens with the rest of the carnival, but just know that a new girl comes in to the carnival, and with her, the charm starts to break, and the entire carnival, like all of the workers, I guess there's like 200, they start to panic and they start pointing fingers at her like, nothing bad happened to us until you joined our team. What are you doing that is affecting this charm that has been set into motion for, I don't know, 60 years or something like that? Like, what have you done that's causing this breakdown? And the whole book is figuring out why people are starting to get hurt at the carnival and how the charm is starting to dissolve and what to do next. I love how the curse takes place. It's so sad and gruesome at the same time. I really enjoyed the romance in this book. It is very quick, like most YA romances are, because kids are finicky. You know, a girl will see a boy or a boy will see a girl and they'll fall in love immediately, and then, you know, once their hormones die down a little bit, weeks later, months later, they realize, ew, I don't like this person anymore because a new someone has taken its place. It's so easy to fall in love with when you're little. And these kids are about 17. So I can understand the quickness in their romance, but the romance isn't cheesy and it isn't cringeworthy. So that made me very happy. I was able to continue reading it. And again, it's so magical and whimsical, not as much as The Night Circus, but just enough to be in the same family. And I just absolutely loved it. The villains were great. Everybody just all of the characters, like the side characters, all made sense. They weren't just names thrown in the book. They all had their own place and reason to be in the story, and they helped progress the plot, which is always fantastic. So yeah, I absolutely loved this book. And those are the 4 books that I read last week. I want to thank Entangled Teen again for sending me this book. It was fabulous. I absolutely loved it, and it's a finished copy, so that's always nice to add to my shelf, and it's pink. Here it is underneath the dust jacket. It's just black on that, but I like the spine. And yeah, that is it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I do apologize that I haven't been on in a week. I was very busy last week playing World of Warcraft, and I got sucked into the Valentine's holiday event, and I was farming charms galore to get the love boat. You guys don't know what I'm talking about, but it was insane, and I had to do it, and so I didn't make any videos because I was busy doing that. But I'm back. I should be making a video at least every day this week to kind of catch up for what I missed last week. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye! Are you guys still there? Hi. For my loyal followers, and the reason why I say loyal is, and I think I'm going to do this is my announcement to future videos. I want to thank the people that subscribe to my channel a long time ago, like the ones that have been with me since the beginning. I want to be able to say thank you to those people. I mean, I appreciate my new subscribers, obviously, but I want to give love to the people that watch my video from start to finish, because I'm not one of those that does a Patreon account. I never ask you guys for likes. I don't tell you guys to subscribe because it makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to beg for friends. And that's what not that I think that people who do that are begging for friends, but to me personally, if I were to do that, it would be begging. And I don't like begging. If you like me for who I am, then obviously you'll subscribe to my channel. If you like what I say and you don't mind my rambling, you'll watch the whole video. So for those that stayed and watched the entire video, I have a giveaway. Yes, when Entangled Teen sent me my book, they accidentally sent me 2 copies. So I have one to give away to one of you guys. It is international. Let me know down below if you want a YA romance fantasy set in a carnival. And if you like The Night Circus, I promise you, you will like this one. I will be sending this to one lucky person. Let me know down below what your favorite carnival food is, and I will choose winners from those comments. I will put you all in a hat, and because this is a hush-hush giveaway, I'm not going to be doing a video like announcing that I'm giving a giveaway away. I will just DM you that you won, and if you have 24 hours to respond, and if you don't, I will pick another winner. Does that make sense? Again, it's international. It doesn't matter where you live. I will send you this book. So I want to thank you guys again for staying through the whole video. I want to thank you for subscribing. And again, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.